And in general, all these parties, the way they argue, they're all the time concerned with how to protect themselves, how to get rid of the others. They're not concerned with the country, with the people, with making better laws, but they're concerned with how do I get rid of the others and come to power myself. Myself meaning my party. This is what it's all about all the time. And if this is the only thing that they're thinking about, so of course the ordinary citizen is not taken into consideration, but only their party is. So corruption is not only in terms of money, but it's corruption in the way the regime, the power is used, the media is used, the use of the educational systems, where everything is directed only in order to build an electorate for themselves, meaning supporters, voters, that I have to care only for my part, my sector, that vote for me, and then I'm calm. The more they are, the more powerful they are. By that, I secure a good future for myself, and I can steal more and strengthen myself, and so on. All these things are happening in a closed circle, and that it's happening in Israel. Of course, that it also happens in other countries, for sure. But the question is, to what extent? We, because our entire development in the past dozens of years is a very sharply egoistic development, an exponential development, that our ego is growing limitlessly. So we see that these people, they simply go mad. You can't stop them. Their ability drives them crazy. Finally, I'm in power. I have my share. It's the time that it's mine for now to enjoy what I have. If I got where I am, first of all, I owe those who supported me, that there were many tycoons and people that supported me in order to put me in power. Now, I have to pay them back. I have to help them make more millions because they supported me during the elections. And that's how it goes. We help each other out. Yeah. And there's no way out. But we have to understand. How long will this go on? Until the people, well, thank God we're already in the state where the people are really despaired of any form of regime, any form of government. And what do? If there's nothing besides that, there isn't. Meaning the current government, that there's a struggle between them, even though that this struggle is becoming something like a showcase, display. There's no struggle, they finish all the business between themselves. It's all arranged so that I'll give you, you give me, how much of this, how much of that, and everything falls into place. But what follows is that they take the people out of the equation altogether. And what does that cause? It brings to a state where, if in the past, when there was a king, and we listened to what he says and obeyed that, because it's the monarchy, that besides him being first in the country, he was also number one in church, being the head. He had all the strings of how to control the country in his hands. He was also the head of government, the head of the army, the head of religion, and then everything's in his hands. That was later on divided throughout history as we started approaching our times. But the problem is that in our times, we passed all of these stages, and we came to a state where we see that even though that the people are changing, and even though that we as if choose people, but it's not really choosing. Anyone who comes to power has to play, has to act out the same role as long as they're in power, and also those in power today are doing the very same thing. And there's no big difference between all these people, even right and left. Not with respect to the people, but with respect to, suppose, war and peace, all these things. There's also not that much of a difference because a person who's at the top sees that his hands are tied, that all the parties and all the local circumstances in government and all the conditions he has at his borders, all the economical circumstances in trade and world opinion, internal affairs, all these things lock him in so much that he has barely anything left by which to control the country, internally wise, in politics and internal and foreign affairs. But again, going back to everyone simply being concerned with their pocket and their chair.